Okay, so we are live. So yeah, hello and welcome everyone to today's new and AI stream. With me is today with me is not Emmanuel but Ismail. So yeah, say hello to him. Like every week, we have tons of very interesting news that we can showcase today. So yeah, let's jump right into the first one. So the first one is OpenInterpreter. They previously had a open source repository where they had a basic, you could say it, system that could interact with your PC in natural language. So you inputted the prompt in there, for example, list me all files on my desktop, and then this application would go on, write code to actually retrieve all of your files from your desktop and then list them in a chat interface. So yeah, that was really cool. But now they are doing the next step, which is selling an actual small smart device. And this is similar to other devices that we've seen. For example, this Rabbit MQ or what was it's something like that called. Um, the cool thing about this right here is that it's really open. So on their website, if you go to openinterpreter.com/01, you can actually see, you can buy the thing soon, or you can actually build it on your own, which is a very cool option. So if you click on this build your own thing, you can see that it will look like this in the end. And they have really nice instructions on here. They even offer a one-on-one support in case you have any problems. And actually doing this is pretty easy. You just clone the software, install a few libraries, export the OpenAI API key, and then you run the thing. And they also have a description here about the hardware. So you need to buy an ESP32, which is like a very basic what's called microcontroller for doing things that are also that need internet interaction. So this thing has like Bluetooth capabilities, Wi-Fi capabilities, basically everything that you need to run such a device. Then the installation instructions actually seem pretty easy to do. And yeah, the huge upside about this is that it runs locally on your home PC, but you can still ask questions on the go. For example, it can write or read your emails while you're not on your PC. So yeah, it can fully interact with your operating system. It could also list all the files on your desktop, delete all images from downloads folder, basically anything that you can also do with your keyboard and mouse. So yeah, I think that can be a huge productivity booster. And it's really nice to see that this is the first kind of these devices that is actually fully open source, and that you can build yourself at home, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, maybe do you have an idea of what you would use this specifically, like for day-to-day tasks? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I think this is cool. This is cool. I think this kind of devices and like this kind of ideas, it's gonna affect not the future, it's next days, because it's like interacting. It's something we can use in daily life. So I think they did a great job, and this is cool thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
actually yeah.
and also I noticed that it's not now we have these kind of things. It's not about only the softwares. Now we are getting hardwares and we are trying to make devices that combination of hardware and software with AI, and this is gonna boom the AI capability, because it's not just software could be used for developers only or tech savvy. It's
Yeah.
for all people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think a big problem with computers these days is that you actually need to be a little bit tech savvy to do very basic things. And I think these kinds of devices with their natural language interface really allows everyone to do things on their PC that previously only tech-savvy people could do. So yeah, that's super cool to see. Definitely.
I agree.
All right, yeah, maybe let's go over to our next topic, which is Devin from Cognition AI. So let's have a quick look at this 1-minute demo video right here, where they're showcasing one particular use case. So yeah, let's get started. Oh, let me refresh really quick.
I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama. On a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement, reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization.
So yeah, I think that's enough. So yeah, really cool to see that you have these 4 windows right here. One chat interface, then the terminal, then the code editor, and then also web browser. And yeah, super cool to see the choice of these things. This is basically all the things that a developer needs to build things. So super cool to see this. Also cool to see that you can interact with the chat while the other things are doing different tasks. So you can always kind of, if it gets off the rails somewhere, you can just tell it and it can actually fix the problem. It's able to debug problems with AI-generated code. That's also very good to see. Web browsing is super powerful. So yeah, I'm very hyped to try this out myself because I know building these systems is very hard. And showcasing a really good working demo is definitely easier than being able to do all of these different tasks that you actually need to do when developing an application. But yeah, this looks very promising. You can see it even deploys this thing to Netlify. This is not easy because previously you have to log in into Netlify, kind of create a project or whatever, and then deploy this. It might be possible that you can do all of this in the command line, but at least the account creation and maybe email verification has to be done in the browser. So yeah, that's really something to think about, and I'm super hyped to try out this product. Yeah, eventually when they will open up to everyone. So yeah, super cool to see this.
I like about this. This is gonna change the scene of to the developer. It's totally different. We'll be making or building application more easily and fast. We'll make it fast. So I think this is gonna change the scene for the developers.
And
but it's just a start. It's just a start. Finally.
Yeah, that's true. And I think this is very similar to what we've talked about in the last topic, that it enables like non-tech savvy people to actually build web applications and deploy them. So yeah, it's a super powerful tool for everyone.
But I think it's too early for like people to use that, not the tech savvy. It need to tech savvy for this stage. But I can also see this is gonna be open for all people, user friendly to all kind of people, not tech only guys soon. But I don't think it's available for all people at this stage yet.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of need to know what's going on in the background and what you need to do. I'm sure that this thing will also get stuck at some point. Do mistakes that you then have to fix in the code. So yeah.
And this reminds me of first days when Sweep it's come out, and people talk that Sweep gonna take juniors or something like that. So I think this is same talk. We cannot decide until we try it.
Yeah.
So, but this is great thing to see and great demo
Yeah.
you show us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super cool to see this. Yeah, and yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this and
Yeah.
kind of push it to the limits and see where it fails. But yeah, it's also awesome to see if you have like smaller tasks on a project that you can just outsource to this AI developer, I guess. That then goes on and looks at your project, looks at documentation of different libraries that you're using. Yeah, then performs whatever needs to be done. So yeah, that's cool. Something that's also related to this is just a couple of days after the announcement of Devin,
Yeah.
that kind of went viral on X and other platforms, is that we got an open source alternative to Devin called Devika, and you can see this interface right here. Oops, looks very similar to the original Devin interface. So you have a chat, you have a web browser, you have a terminal, and I'm sure that you will also have some kind of editor in there. Yeah, but it's super cool to see that these things are built super quickly by the open source community and then, yeah, develop further. You can see right here that this is only about a week old, and you can see that there are already 39 pull requests. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I actually tried to run this on my own, but unfortunately I failed. I had like multiple errors I ran into. My big hope for this project is that they will add a Docker image soon, so everyone can run this without any problems. But yeah, the interesting thing between these projects is that none of them are using any kind of applications that are not publicly available. So both are using public APIs and are doing the same thing. So it will be very interesting to see how a closed source product will compare to these open source projects, because the open source community is very strong, building very cool things, and I'm sure that they will be some kind of competitor to these other AI developers. So yeah, super cool to see this. Yes, and I hope that these pull requests will get merged soon and it will get even better with time. All right, going from AI developers to re-rankers. So re-rankers is a project that enables you to integrate a re-ranking kind of process into your LLM pipeline. So I'm sure that everyone by now knows what RAG is, and for RAG you kind of need to rank your existing documents or whatever you have in your database to get the most interesting and actually the most valuable one for your user's request. And this re-rankers package right here is super easy to integrate into your pipeline. You can use tons of different models, which is very good to see. And then you can simply do it like this. So you have this function right here where you input your user's query, so I love you, and then all your documents that you have in your database. For example, I hate you and I really like you. Then some IDs. And then you get back this ranked results object where you can see that the result is I really like you, because it's much more similar to I love you than I hate you. You can see the score for each one of these results right here, and you can see that the score for I really like you is much higher than the I hate you score. So yeah, you can really see that it works. Super easy to integrate. So you just have like 3 lines to add to your project, and then you have a full working re-ranked system, which is always nice. Because I know from experience that building these kinds of things with LangChain sometimes is a pain, because LangChain has different retrievers, and then you kind of have to choose a specific tactic on how you want to re-rank your results. So it's not always easy, and having this package do it right off the box is super awesome to see. So yeah, if you're building ranked pipelines, I would definitely check out this re-ranked repo. Yeah. Then let's get over to our next topic, which is the release of Grok-1. So Grok-1 is the language model coming from X or XAI. It's a 314 billion parameter model, also with this mixture of experts approach, like we've seen from many other very powerful models out there. The awesome thing that is that it's released under the Apache 2.0 license. And if you do a little research on this, you can actually see that Mistral was released under the same license. And yeah, this license, so right here, you can see that you can use this in any commercially licensed software or enterprise application for free. So this is super cool to see. We've seen other things with, for example, with Llama, where they had a license that you kind of had to pay something if you had more than, I don't know, like 1 million active users or something like that. And yeah, that's super painful if you're trying to develop something with a model, but you don't know if you have to pay something if your application at some point scales to a lot of users. So yeah, this license is super great to see. Yeah, you can download the full weights right here from the GitHub repo. I think this is torrent link, very similar to what we've seen with Mixtral. Yeah, super easy to run. Just install the requirements and then Python run. So Grok-1 is a language model that is a little bit more fun and kind of open than other large language models. So other language models are very restricted in what they kind of want to say and what they don't want to say. And yeah, Grok is a little bit better with things like humor and stuff like this. So if you're looking for a language model in this domain, I would definitely recommend checking out this Grok language model.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest announcement for the last week, especially the license of Grok-1. Also, I think it's hard for individual to use this or not to use it, to work with this, because it's required a high requirement for the devices. I think also this reminds me, by the way, with Bloom. I think it's called Bloom model, which is it's bigger than Grok, but it's not efficient like Grok. That's why Grok is a stand in the front of that. I think that's great. A step by XAI, and I was optimistic when I see Grok -1, because we gotta see 2, 3, 4, and this is gonna be huge.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally a really good thing that we see these big models being published. So yeah, they're not closed, just open for everyone to use. Everyone can do research with them.
Also, by the way, you can also people can also take a look of from NVIDIA. NVIDIA was launched one of the foundation models. It's called Groot.
Oh yeah,
Groot.
yeah.
I think it's called Groot. Yeah, this is also was a nice model. You should take a look of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, everyone who's interested, you will find these links in the description. Yeah, from there you can just continue building, downloading the weights, and yeah, building your application. All right. So the next thing is we've seen this GitHub Copilot CLI. Unfortunately, they kind of announced it, and currently it's only available for enterprise users of GitHub Copilot. So yeah, unfortunately, not everyone can use it right now. This is again where the open source community comes in and builds it on their own. So this is local CAI Copilot powered by Code Llama. So the nice thing about this is that it runs locally, so you don't really need an API or anything. And this is how you can use it. So you just type TLM suggest, and then with these quotes, you can just write whatever you would like. So in this case, it's list all network interfaces, but only their IP addresses. And then you hit enter. It goes on thinking about what you said. Then you can see the command right here, and then you can just execute explain or cancel. So you can just directly use the command that was just generated. So that's super easy to use, super great to see. Everything's local. No requirement to use OpenAI. So that's super cool to see. All right, so I guess that's it. Nothing more to say here really. So we can jump over to our last topic, which is the Anthropic cookbook. So Anthropic, with their release of Claude 3, made a huge dent in the whole LLM scene because it outperformed GPT in many areas. And for me personally, I really enjoyed the OpenAI cookbook because they had tons of really useful examples in there for basically everything that you can do with their API. So if you have a look here, they have examples on function calling, then images, also multimodal stuff, then miscellaneous. So we have, for example, building a moderation filter. That's super cool to see. How to enable JSON mode. That's also very important. SQL queries. So these are all things that are often built with large language models, and this is a super great place to actually start and see how to do this properly. And you can just follow these notebooks here and then integrate it in your own kind of application. PDF upload summarization, so that's always useful. Read web pages with Haiku, that's also super cool to see. Yes?
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I just say, I just want to say this is great.
Yeah.
Like real examples.
Yeah, that's true. And they are also examples that are coming directly from the actual, how can I say, owner or developers of this large language model. So they really know how to prompt these things, how to approach these kinds of problems. If you are trying to get started with any Anthropic model, this is probably the best way to go.
I think this is they have it's not too late, but it's late to launch this kind of examples because OpenAI it's fly with these things from a long time.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's a great step from Anthropic, and they now catching the others.
Yeah, that's true. If you compare, so for example, you can see these 5 directories here, but if I now go to the OpenAI cookbook on GitHub, you can see that there are like much more examples in here. So this is just for articles. So these are all the examples. You can see that there's tons and tons and tons of examples, classification, clustering. So everything you can do around embeddings. You can basically have so many use cases for the large language models. OpenAI did a really great job here. Anthropic has to catch up, but this is a great place to start still.
Yeah. And thank you. I just know that they launched something like this. I never heard about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
pretty
know
cool.
that. Yeah. That the benefit when it's someone get that to new end, so he can catch all new news here.
Yeah, definitely. And they don't really promote this kind of thing, so it's great to have this as a resource. All right, everyone. So this is already the end of today's live stream. So if you think that these applications are very interesting and you want to build with these, come to one of our hackathons. So we have 2 coming up. So we have the Advanced RAG Hackathon with partners like Vectera and Together AI, Llama Index, and more. So if you're interested in this, make sure to register here. Or, so we just talked about Grok. You can enroll for the Grok hackathon and kind of play around with the Grok model and see what it's capable of, what kind of awesome applications you can build with it, and have a lot of fun while doing all of this. All right. I guess that's it for today. So thank you to everyone who's watching, and we will see you next Tuesday. So bye-bye everyone.